Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reacts where today we have ourselves a track from an act named CactusHead titled Emerald, and if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on Spotify. It's a single, here is the art for it, and we're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's do it, let's go. Phenomenal amount of detail.
I'm breathing echoes of your light. Can't live off shadows of the night. Oh no, you got me wrapped around your finger. You've got me hooked, line, and sinker.
That's cool.
You want me to? I'll grab your hand and I'll lead you through, babe. No, don't you want me to love you?
I mean, it's instantly commercial grade.
She's a crystalline formation. It should be my inspiration. Your diamond eyes, hey, your groovy smile makes me harmonize. You're up and compromised by that emerald gown. Whoa, now you got me spellbound down. I'm jumping up and down. I know you need me too, babe. Yeah, 'cause you want me to. I'll grab your hand and I'll lead you through, babe. Go, don't you want me?
And even a solo section in here. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? The key change as well.
Me, maybe paralyzed. Don't make me paralyzed. Oh no, babe. Your crystal eyes will hypnotize me, maybe paralyzed. Don't make me paralyzed. Fading in and out, you got me on souls and it's fine. And I'm feeling all the energy on the dance floor tonight. Fading in and out, got me on souls and it's fine. It's fine, babe. Feeling all the energy. You want me?
And is that a natural little fade out at the end? This is honestly exceptional. I'm super stoked with this track, but we're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named CactusHead titled Emerald. An amazing song. Just before we get into it, I'm profusely enamored with it. But what is this track about? I think it's about someone who's just showing a grand appreciation for the person that they're with, you know. The lady in Emerald, the way they look, their eyes, their smile, their dress, their energy, the way they're moving, the way they're grooving, needing each other, the chemistry between them. It's just stunning, and it's described so articulately and poetically within the lyrics, which I appreciate. You know, there are a lot of different ways you can discuss things like this, and I think the magic of the music, which we'll get to at the moment, like the backing, the instrumental parts, etc., is a nice additive and equalizer for all the romanticism and the exuberant stuff going on within the lyric section. So I feel like the storytelling is really solid here. I really appreciate the attention to detail with the lyrics. But you've also got the vocals where this is kind of like disco funk, kind of electronic mishmash and combination there that works so well. It incorporates a lot of what made music special with the dance aesthetic back in the 70s and 80s, and it kind of also brings in a more modern feel of 2010s EDM, and I love that fusion there. I think it's sensational. And the vocals on top are in this like mid to upper range there, where we're so present in the mix without being too much. We're very kind of like fragrant. You know, there's a nice kind of like a breathiness to it, but it's also done the way where it could be percussive. There are these wonderful overdubs and harmonized vocals and cooler responses. We're just so comfortable on our head and chest voice with a really solid vocal technique. We navigate the complex harmonies really neatly. There are lots of extensions and chromaticisms and key changes and stuff like that, and it never feels alienated. We have a similar kind of range octave-wise that we like to sort of stay in, but I think considering how busy the composition is, that makes a lot of sense, and I think that it was really well handled. So it expressed ourselves really neatly, and there was a sense of authenticity. You kind of believe the story they were telling. Like immediately from the beginning though, let's talk about the actual track itself, because you have that door open, and you then have brown, 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 these extended chords, these arpeggios played out from bottom to top, and then you have this kind of menace to the lower end with the synthesizers, a really intense sort of atmosphere to it. It's kind of dangerous, but there's also a sense of wonder to it. And then you come in with the snare fill, and then you got the drums with a 16th note groove with quarter note accents and the hi-hats, kicks, and snares, and then you have this kind of slap bass, this funky bass line, either going at a similar pace to what the drums are doing or articulate or accenting certain quarters or eighths. I love the use of slaps and octaves within that part there to add a sense of funkiness, whilst also sort of providing a nice foundation for anything else happening in the upper ranges. And there are these guitar takes where like you've got the kind of like the guitar parts there kind of picked and alternate strummed, and they just navigate in the frequency spectrum really neatly in that mid-range, certain notes of those arpeggios or harmonies there that kind of add a nice cooler response to some of the vocal melodies or reinforce the triads within the progressions. And you've got this kind of like almost string stabs there which highlight certain parts, but in a really pretty way there. It's like exciting. It's very disco, but it's almost in like done sort of like a kind of Daft Punkish kind of way, but there's an even kind of heavier electro kind of house EDM aspect to it in like one of the later parts there, not like around the 30-second mark where we kind of get really kind of heavy with the bass synths, and the way they oscillate and rotate and kind of intermingle with one another is sensational. The side chaining from the kicks and everything like that is fantastic. And it's just constant movement and interspersed kind of interchanging stuff going on instrumentally with the different layers. They get introduced and then taken away and reintroduced. And we never stay with one thing for too long, in a sense that nothing ever becomes tired or overplayed. We constantly have a sense of movement that mirrors what we're discussing within the track, and it's very exciting and energetic. We even have like a vocoder-ish thing coming in at one point there where it's kind of like a solo section there. I dig that. That's a little interlude there. It's so funky. It's just such a fun pseudo lead. And we also had like another kind of key solo thing happening a little bit later on as well, which was dope. There were several different instrumental or solo sections scattered throughout this 3.5 minute piece, which, while not unheard of, is a fantastic use of that real estate. And there were parts where we simply had like hand drums and there was no low end, and things kind of floated for a minute before coming back down, so we handled our dynamic range really neatly. That was really cool. And like we kind of went up at one point in like semitonal increments there, the ba ba da down and the bow, and we kind of went up to that key signature and we went up. It was just nice, had that seamless transition there. It wasn't stunted, it wasn't awkward. It can be very difficult to cleanly go between key sigs unless you know what you're doing, which CactusHead does. But it's just to be able to have that seamless shift there, to be able to navigate that vocally as well as with all the other components is fantastic. And like we do kind of minimize some of the drum parts a bit later on and have some claps going on there with just kicks and snare, you know, like, so things do minimize, but we know it's just so many different little chapters within this piece. We have different verses and choruses, but we adjust and key change, and there's all this wonderful ear candy and different bits where they're filtered and phased out, and it's a lot. There's a lot to absorb. Like, I genuinely feel that you could listen through this track multiple times and potentially have different experiences each time, even actively listening without anything else in the room, simply because you accept certain things and, oh, there's that thing as well. Oh, there's that thing as well. So it definitely has re-listen value. And for it to, again, have that classy fade out at the end, almost like you're at the end of the adventure, you've gotten to the climax there, you're kind of building up with each other, dancing, ascending into the skylights, it's into the disco ball. It's just tremendous. So the theme overall, it just is meant to sort of indicate a relation to both the style it's doing, again, the mixture of the funk and the disco, but the electronic stuff. It's a beautiful mashup of those genres and styles, meant to sort of indicate a stylistic reference to what we're discussing lyrically, being at the club with this person and being mesmerized and hypnotized by them. But I think also there's a sense of cautious optimism and euphoria there. Like, we're trying to be a little bit low-key about it, which is why a lot of it is very sort of suave sounding in regards to the extended harmonies and the tightness and the variety of different twists and turns. We're navigating things, but it's a complicated song that is just so easy to accept at face value and groove along to. And I think that there's a variety of different ways you can listen to it and interact with it, and I think they all work. If it sounds like I'm glazing, I'm not glazing. It's just genuinely positive. It's one of the better tracks that I've reviewed so far this year, and I really enjoy hearing music like this that surprises me and actually gets me excited about the future of the industry, because if this is coming out at what I presume to potentially be an independent level, really the people in those mainstream labels, those bigger labels, they have no like, this is, I really hope they continue to make more music. So yeah, no, really stoked with everything, including the studio production, recording, mixing, and mastering. Like, it's just phenomenal. I love the attention to detail with the way the vocals were recorded, the different overdubs, the harmonies, etc., the vocoder parts, the call and responses, the way that panned and sort of referenced within the frequency spectrum, different guitar, key, bass, drum, hand drum, synths, strings, all those other elements there that are included. Even the cowbell, if I'm not mistaken, at one point, I might be wrong though, but just all these different ingredients are wonderfully captured, and they all have niches and niche together really well, and it's just, there is dynamic range. Things are not sort of choked or squeezed. It's nice and loud without pumping, but it's also commercial, professionally produced. It's got life to it. It's vivacious. There are changes in the perceived intensity as well, which make it more exciting. Twists and turns, not just from the composition and lyrics, but also from the actual production, where it's wonderful. But ultimately, this is just a really, really positive review of this track from an actor named CactusHead titled Emerald, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and a Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.